Half a year ago, as I made my way back to the village, I came across a swift lying on the ground. It trembled slightly, appearing on the verge of death. Filled with reluctance and sympathy, I gingerly lifted it from the ground. Thankfully, it still clung to life. However, a grim reality awaited. The inner portion of its right wing bore severe injuries. Without prompt treatment, its chances of surviving until the next day seemed slim. Now, the first priority is to disinfect it. Perhaps sensing my assistance, the swift simply sat quietly in my hands, without struggling or showing fear. Of course, it could also be due to a lack of energy. As I wiped its wounds, it tightly closed its eyes, likely from pain or fear, reminiscent of my childhood experiences with injections. After treating the wound, I prepared a nest made of straw and placed some water and bugs inside it. Swifts differ from domestic birds, and since we lacked knowledge about its injuries, seeking professional treatment seemed prudent. I hope the doctor can help. After inquiry, I found the only veterinarian in town. Upon examination, they found that the swift's wings were broken, and some of the broken bones even punctured the skin. Unfortunately, veterinarians simply don't have the equipment or expertise to handle such complex surgical procedures. At this point, we are faced with two choices: either try to do it ourselves, or watch the swift slowly die. Without a doubt, we chose the former. Luckily, we found the video online and followed the instructions to buy the medicine we needed. It was a veterinary anesthetic, about 1/4 of which was ground into a powder and mixed with 8 milliliters of water. Subsequently, we gently removed the swallows and wrapped them in a towel to prevent escaping during the procedure. It's just that he doesn't know how to drink it on his own, so gently break open its mouth and drip the medicine in. According to the internet, we also need to feed the swift to make sure he has enough energy to cope with it and ensure that the operation goes smoothly. We take a few flies and put them in the swift's mouth. The swift didn't seem to have much of an appetite, and we gently massaged its neck to help it swallow the food, but that didn't help, so we put some water in its mouth, and it managed to swallow the fly. Half an hour later, the anesthetic worked, and the swallow gradually relaxed from its tense state, and it looked like it was asleep, so we started sterilizing and preparing for the surgery. The straw stuck to the feathers is removed, and then the wound is disinfected and completely cleaned to find the bone fragments. When it touched the wound, the swallow hissed. Fortunately, the bone fragment was quickly recovered, but unfortunately, the wound was more severe than expected. A piece of bone is protruding directly from the wound, and if it is not corrected in time, I am afraid that this part of the bone will die sooner or later. Humans usually use a cast or splint to assist in this situation, so let's apply a small splint to it. At this point, the little swallow's wings seemed to be dislocated, and I plucked up my courage and gently lifted the wings. Then came the moment of truth. Whether it was delusion or real, we seemed to hear a muffled sound, and it was clear that the bones had returned to their normal positions. Then glue the cardboard to the wings, avoiding touching the soft fluff, as it will be difficult to remove the tape later. In addition, it is very important not to cover the wound so that it can be treated at any time. Fortunately, under the influence of the anesthetic, the swallow barely moved. Finally, antibiotics were applied to the wound, and the operation was finally completed. Okay, that's all for this video. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.